Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Wake Up and Ball, powered by BetUS Sportsbook. We made it after TD was a little late, but it's okay because we're still live, baby. Wake Up and Ball is going to be a lot of things we're going to be getting into throughout this entire offseason because it is officially the offseason. Let the NFL offseason begin. NBA, we're going into the All-Star break soon. Baseball season's right around the corner. A lot of fun things coming up here on Wake Up and Ball. Hit that like button, folks. Let's get straight into it. Tony, good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Richie. Listen, man, sorry about this morning. Having a lot of stuff going on this side of the camera, but we getting it all done, man. We settling in. It's time to start, getting my background ready, man. I'm still debating. I'm having some back and forth with the wife. She like, no. I'm like, oh, I got to figure this out, man.
No what? She doesn't want it to be decorated?
No, she says I'm tacky sometimes. She like, don't do it like that. Do it like this. So we figured it out.
Yeah, man. I think you deserve a change. I don't think you should do the same exact thing, in my opinion. I mean, I think you should change a little bit, and I don't know if you want to go the route of the LED lights, but that's a good studio feel. I'm just saying, you get a nice TD Finns Talk neon light with the Roundtable Sports neon light, and then a bunch of things around it. I don't know. I feel like a nice TD Finns Talk neon sign would look pretty clean next to a Roundtable Sports one. But I'm just saying, TD, you gotta do what's best for you.
Hey, well, I'm gonna figure it out one way or another. That's for sure.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to see how it all comes together. Folks, don't forget to smash the like button, please. We appreciate all the support. There's a lot of things that is exciting heading into the offseason, so let's get straight into it. So the first topic I want to talk to you, TD, about is your Dolphins. Because they made a move yesterday.
What did I miss?
They made a coaching hire.
Oh, come on.
What do you mean, come on? The Dolphins hire Bobby Slowik as their senior pass game coordinator, the future head coach of the Miami Dolphins, because when Mike McDaniel gets fired eventually, Bobby Slowik will get elevated as the interim head coach in the middle of the season. Just kidding, or am I? What is your thoughts of this news? Bobby Slowik was once looked at as an actual head coach candidate, then gets fired as an OC, and now he is reuniting with Mike McDaniel on the Miami coaching staff.
I'm trying to remember. Wasn't he? I thought he was in Houston. What happened there?
Yeah, he shockingly got fired out of nowhere.
And that was this whole season he got fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I really don't think much about it, Richie. This doesn't move the needle, if you ask me. They replaced Wes Welker. You got to understand this too, man. This is the pass game coordinator now for the Miami Dolphins. You got Tyreek Hill. You have Jalen Waddle. You got to figure something out. You got to have this offense high flying like the Lions were. You have the weapons. We're not short of the weapons. Malik Washington came on late in the season. So with that, you have to be able to create something here. But let me say this, man. It really doesn't matter much. Mike McDaniel's going to be calling the plays. Pass game coordinator, I always look at that as just a wide receiver / tight ends coach, trying to come up with a game plan that can get people open. But at the same token, Mike McDaniel had to be able to call plays that's going to get people open. All these bubble screens and all these short crossers, it's not going to work. You got to open it up. You really got to open it up. I like how Philly does it, I like how they do the stagger receivers, sending multiple guys in one zone area where a guy has to pick which one he follows so that you know that you have an option on who's going to be open. That's what I love. But all this bubble screen because you want yak, we got to transition from that in Miami and actually go all out and try to be more explosive. We'll see if he can do that.
Mean, if you want to replicate the Philadelphia Eagles, you better draft offensive line in the first round.
Yeah, I get it, but again,
that's where it starts with them.
Yeah, but their pass game. I know what you mean. Give more time to throw the ball. I don't like Miami going in the draft to get O-linemen in the first round. I like Miami going in free agency to get O-linemen? Guys who are already proven. See, everybody say, oh, you need to fix the O-line, go in the draft. That's the one position right there when you're general manager on a hot seat. You can't go draft a guy and say, let's see if he's a bust or not. You need something solidified in Miami Dolphins situation. So go in free agency and get the best offensive lineman you can buy. Guys who already proved.
Good luck with that. The Miami Dolphins' expectations this offseason is that they're going to be aggressive. They're going to try to find a lot of players to come in here and help immediately. I just don't know if, what's the Miami Dolphins fan base's expectations going into the offseason for Miami, right? It's been very quiet. They had no coaching changes. There's nothing really to talk about in Miami. This is the only news we got about Miami this offseason in terms of an addition or a subtraction. You guys are making nothing. There's no moves, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Like, what's the headspace? Is it just a civil war still between Dolphins fans with Tua? I mean, what's the?
I don't even think people talk about Tua much right now. I think people are over it in this sense. Let's see what they do in the draft, and let's see what they do in free agency. Then let's see if they move our emotion. People are so over it, Richie. They're so over it. A lot of people will go get an O-line. Here's what I think Dolphin fans realize. They know we need an O-line as a priority, but even if we have an elite O-line, is it going to be enough? They're doubting that now. They know, hey, man, until we fix the trenches, it don't matter. You're correct. But even if you fix the trenches, is it going to matter? Because this team is they still play soft. They still got a quarterback who always getting hurt. They still got a quarterback who don't show up in the big game. So at the end of the day, it's like, man, let me see what you do in free agency in the draft. And if it moves me, okay, let's do something. But I'm not expecting much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you should expect much either. I think this is a very interesting offseason for Miami and going to be interesting to see where they move forward. But we have to talk about Miami at some point. They've been very, very quiet regarding this offseason. So let's get into some of the breaking news that happened with Kellen Moore officially becoming the head coach of the New Orleans Saints.
Getting that staff together.
What'd you say?
Getting that staff together.
Yeah. He is the last coach to be hired. This was pretty much obvious when the Saints were not hiring anybody until the Super Bowl. It's like, yeah, that's the reason for that. Is Kellen Moore is going to be the guy, wins the Super Bowl, could have just stayed in New Orleans, and now he's assembling his coaching staff. Kellen Moore is a guy that I feel like has an opportunity to, learn from Nick Sirianni, learn from all these guys he came under, but will he be successful in New Orleans? What do you say?
I think he's going to be mid in New Orleans. The organization, they haven't been the same since Breeze, and honestly, they weren't, operating great at the end of his career. And Sean Payton, they've always been in cap trouble too, Richie, for the last several years, for like 5 years straight, and they've continued to kick the can down the road. I don't know if they fixed that issue. I'll look it up in just a second. But I like Kellen Moore. I love what he went to Philly and did. Coming from the Cowboys, they needed a scapegoat. I always knew it shouldn't have been Kellen Moore, but they were, hey, McCarthy, we are not making any changes. We need somebody to pay for our failures. And they basically moved on from Kellen Moore, and now this man wins a Super Bowl. See, this is what fan bases need to pay attention to. Same thing with Fangio with Miami. We blame coordinators sometimes, and then all of a sudden they're able to go win a Super Bowl the very next year. We got to stop this mess, trying to find a scapegoat. You know who's responsible most of the time for a lot of failure? The players you have. Start holding these players accountable too. You don't have the right unit, and if you want to hold anybody in management accountable, it has to be the general manager. So Kellen Moore, great job this year as a coach, and this is well-deserved. And I just think that he'll be a survivor, as in he's not a bad coach, but he's not a Andy Reid. He'll make some. He'll stay in that 7 to 11 win total area every year that they have him as with the Saints.
He's also an unknown. I mean, we don't know. He's his first-time head coach. He was with the Chargers and, moved on to go to Philly afterwards. Mm-hmm. So I think now that he has this opportunity, it's interesting that Dallas had interest in him being their head coach, but they ended up not going with the Kellen Moore route. I don't really know what to expect from Kellen Moore.
Wait, hold on. Kellen Moore, he wasn't in Dallas?
He was, but he went to the Chargers after Dallas.
Got it.
Most recently before Philly. He was in Dallas, then went to the Chargers under Brandon Staley. And
he in with the Chargers, he was the because he wasn't the OC with the Chargers, right?
Yeah, he was.
Hold on. Let's see. I don't know why. I just remember him in Dallas. I thought he was in Dallas last year. That escaped me.
No, he was in Dallas, and then they moved on from Kellen Moore, and then he went to the Chargers under Brandon Staley. They fired Staley. They bring in Harbaugh. He leaves the Chargers, goes to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, and Brandon Staley is going to be potentially his DC. So it's funny how that works. Mm-hmm. Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator for Brandon Staley as the head coach, and now it's going to flip. So we'll see how that dynamic works for those in New Orleans Saints. I mean, you look at the Saints roster. They got some talent, but they're always in cap. I don't even know what to call it at this point. They just don't have good situations for the cap. They don't have a quarterback either. I don't really trust Derek Carr. So going to be intriguing to see his philosophy and the coaching staff he assembles for the New Orleans Saints, TD. We'll see.
Yeah, their cap situation has always been an issue. So I don't know. I'm looking at it now, Richie. He's inheriting $51 million, negative $51 million right now. See,
yeah, good luck.
So please don't blame this man if his first 2 years aren't great. They need to get out of this cap trouble.
Oh, yeah, that is for sure. And speaking of cap trouble, the Jets are out of cap trouble now with the addition, or should I say subtraction, of Aaron Rodgers. That was a big reason why they decided to move on from Aaron Rodgers. Now, we can talk about it all over again. And was it the right decision? Was it the wrong decision? Let's move on from that discussion and talk about who the Jets quarterback will be. Because that's a big one. I don't know what's going to be, TD. You can argue there's multitude of options for the Jets. Free agency, trade market, draft, all of the above. I mean, I don't know where the Jets are going to go here when it comes to the quarterback position. Kirk Cousins' name is being brought up just because he could be a Russell Wilson addition, where if he's bought out by the Falcons, the Jets can sign him for a very cheap $1 million, $2 million deal. And it's just a cheaper version of Aaron Rodgers. Doesn't excite me at all, but that's an option. Justin Fields is an option. Sam Darnold, some people holding out hope that he's coming home. I don't see that happening. The NFL draft, of course. Tyrod Taylor on the roster still. Chat, you guys let me know what's your prediction, where the Jets going at quarterback. And TD, what do you think about it? Because it seems like Aaron is out and they need to find their new QB.
The mystery of the world. First of all, the priority for every team is to find their quarterback of the future. So I'll say this. Let me give some qualifiers, Richie. If y'all get a quarterback who's been in this league for years, you're literally saying that you're rebuilding. If you get a quarterback who's been around for years, then you're not searching for the future. Then that's a problem.
What if we get that and we draft one, though?
Here's the deal. Y'all draft at 7?
Yeah, like what the Atlanta Falcons did is they signed Kirk Cousins and then they drafted Penix.
And now look how that's worked out.
Penix is going to be their guy. I mean, I don't expect the Jets to get a 4-year deal to a guy like Kirk, if anything.
But Atlanta wasted some time and money because the money that was 2 years.
They wasted money, though. Not time. I mean, I'd be okay with a bridge if we bring in a veteran and then we draft a Jackson Dart or draft a rookie and have him sit. I have no problem
But
with
if
that.
you're willing to waste 2 years of money, then they don't care about winning for 2 years.
Yeah, but Kirk Cousins, for example, you're not wasting any money. He's going to be very cheap. It's like $2 million you'll be paying him.
This is true. It's not the Atlanta situation.
It's like the Russell Wilson situation with the Steelers.
Yeah,
the Steelers signed
right.
Russell, and the Denver Broncos were paying all of his money. The Falcons will be paying all of Kirk's money if wherever Kirk goes. And I'm not sitting here saying I want Kirk Cousins. I'm just bringing it up because it's a realistic option.
That's who you might end up getting, though, because you got to get the best quarterback that you can find for the low. He's going to be cheap. That's number one. And who's better? Who's better than Kirk Cousins that's going to be available?
Sam Darnold. Right now, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but again, now you're taking away the cheap aspect.
I know. I mean, you asked the question. I'm just answering it.
Yeah, and I guess what I mean is the cheaper guys. Who's out there? Because you're taking away, and now you will have some money back. I get that. So that y'all in a weird situation. Nobody can guess which direction y'all gonna go. Because you have
the cheapest option
direction.
too is Tyrod Taylor, who's under contract for next year as the bridge.
Yeah, the bridge guy. So that's probably what y'all gonna end up doing when it's all said and done. Hey Tyrod, you're gonna steer the ship. We're gonna maybe bring another guy in. I don't know who that is. And you guys that compete for the job. I think that's what y'all gonna end up doing. So y'all will win about 5 games and get another good draft pick. But yeah, I don't know what the Jets will do at quarterback. I guess Tyrod, you know what it is? You know what you should do? You should let Tyrod be the bridge, but you got a quarterback you already drafted in the mid-rounds in-house you need to take a look at.
I agree. Jordan Travis, come on.
You need to give Jordan Travis a nice training camp and go from there. How do you feel about that camp?
I mean, Jordan Travis, I think, first of all, big fan. I'm not going to sit here and say he's the future of the Jets, but maybe I may or may not did send this tweet out saying that it's your time now, Jordan. And I had a lot of people telling me that I'm delusional. Oh, my God, here we go again. This blew up. And everyone's telling me that I don't know ball. It's a joke, guys.
Can I ask you a question? Has he played at all, like practice at all?
No, it's a full red shirt. He had a setback in the middle of the season, so he wasn't even able to practice fully. Had no participation in OTAs, no training camp.
Why is everybody so assumptive about who he's going to be in his league?
The injury he had in college was so bad that people are still concerned that he's not going to be able to come back from that, number one. And number two, they don't like him as a prospect. I mean, I loved him as a prospect. I feel like he dropped to where the Jets went because of the injury. I feel like if he did not get hurt, he would have went earlier in the draft. He had Florida State back to relevancy, and he was that team. Mm-hmm. And he was a baller over there. And he's that mobile quarterback. He's a little smaller stature-wise, which you don't really like in today's league, but he's still able to, make extending plays. His arm isn't really great when you look at it. His talent really comes from his athleticism, his ability to move around, and when it comes to processing the field and making the big-time throws, he doesn't really have that ability. It's more improvisation and athleticism that you see. So he's raw, completely raw. I love Jordan Travis as a prospect, but I don't think the Jets I think what they need to do is draft a quarterback this year and have the rookie and Jordan Travis compete for the quarterback 2 spot behind a veteran, because you can't go into next season, in my opinion, with Jordan Travis as your only young option. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I think you just got to give him a look first. Tyrod, Travis, bring in a third
Dart.
guy.
Woo!
Yeah, I don't know.
Come on, Jackson Dart. He could sling that thing, man.
Where would you draft him, Richie?
Jackson Dart?
Yeah, you would have to do it at 7.
Trade back into the first round. He's gonna. I think Dart's gonna. I mean, we still got a long process of the draft of the combine and everything, but I think he can go like in the 20 range, Jackson Dart. And I think if the Jets are smart, if he keeps falling, I saw a mock draft where the Jets traded up from the second round all the way up into the back end of the first round. I think that's what the Jets should do if he falls.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with that, Richie. If you draft Dart at, let's hypothetically say 25, you're able to do that, right? You got to play him.
No.
Yeah.
Why do I have to play him?
You're going to drive people
Week
crazy.
1?
Yeah, he's probably automatically going to be the best option.
Yeah, but you got to let him sit. Jackson Dart also is a little raw, in my opinion. Michael Penix didn't play right away. Drake May didn't play right away. J.J. McCarthy wasn't on pace to play, but he got hurt.
Yeah, but here's the deal.
Just because you got drafted in the first round doesn't mean you have to play right away.
But you at least going to play that rookie year.
I mean, Mahomes didn't play his rookie year.
Yeah, but look at who's in front of some of these guys. This is a different situation here. Alex Smith was still a really good quarterback. Michael Penix was behind Kirk Cousins. You paid him all that money. That was going to happen. But in the Jets situation, you got to pay the rookie. You got to pay Dart. I mean, you got to play him.
Yeah, I mean, we got to draft him first before we go there. Another interesting name is Justin Fields. Do you think Justin Fields would be a bridge option for the Jets?
He's the most interesting free agent out of everyone because he showed you he could still help win games when he was with Pittsburgh. And on top of that, he's still a developing player. Is this the Justin Fields coming out party? Is this the opportunity? You got to look down through the NFL and say, who's going to need a quarterback? And when you think about that, Richie, who does need a quarterback?
The Raiders.
And
Jets,
they're not.
The Giants, the Browns.
Where do the Raiders draft?
6th, right ahead of the Jets.
And are they going to get a guy that they love?
They could trade up for Sanders. They could not like any of these quarterbacks.
Trading up, but I don't know about the trade up, and here's why. The guys that are up in front of them, they need a quarterback too. So they're going to miss out. You're going to have about 2 or 3 teams that miss out, and Justin Fields is going to get a chance on one of them. At least that's my opinion. I think he'll get a chance. This is going to be interesting. There's going to be some layover. There's going to be some excess quarterbacks this offseason.
I'm just sick of talking about quarterbacks, man. I don't want to be talking about new quarterback.
There's going to be excess. Somebody's going to retire or somebody's going to be a second-string quarterback. You got Rodgers. You got Kirk Cousins. You got Russell Wilson. You see what I'm saying? You see what I mean here? You got Sam Darnold.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I hear you.
All these guys that need a job, but is there enough jobs for starters?
We'll see. We'll see. Well, the Jets quarterback search is going to be a topic all offseason, probably the most intriguing one out of them all. But let's move on to Deebo Samuel requesting a trade. I think this is very important. This is really the heart of the NFL offseason. If you guys want to check out the odds on BetUS for Deebo Samuel's next destination, you guys can go over to BetUS Sportsbook to receive your 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your next 2. By using the code YouTube150, the Washington Commanders are the favorites at plus 300, Chargers plus 400, Panthers, Broncos, and Patriots, Steelers, Raiders, all at the top of the odds on BetUS to land Deebo Samuel. Will he find a new home, and where will it be? Don't forget to go check out BetUS, folks, to use all your bets. You got Myles Garrett's destination, Cooper Kupp next team. Even Aaron Rodgers' next team's on here. Devontae Adams. A lot of fun things over here on BetUS, so go check them out. Where do you see Deebo landing, TD?
Chargers. I can see Chargers written all over him. Yeah. Remember, this is the trade situation, and they're not going to have to eat much of the cap, and he's going to be a weapon that they need. The Chargers going to be very aggressive. A lot of people not thinking about that, but I think that the Chargers, as they fix the defense, when you really think about it, they're going to give Justin Herbert a few more weapons, and I think this team is going to be tough next year. I think they might even be looking to try to pass the Chiefs up.
Yeah, I've heard that one before. Yeah, I think the Chargers are an option. The Ravens potentially. That would be crazy. Can you imagine Baltimore with Deebo?
Yeah.
You got Derrick Henry to worry about, Deebo out of the backfield to worry about, Lamar. That's like 3 different types of styles of running on one football team. That would be wild.
But Deebo in the AFC.
Yeah, I mean, you see the odds here. I mean, Pittsburgh, that's Cooper Kupp. But you got Chargers, Panthers, maybe the Broncos are looking for another weapon. I think the Broncos are going to be aggressive to build around Bo Nix. New England has the money. Pittsburgh, it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be very, very interesting. So you guys let me know in the chat where you guys have it going. And then, of course, we got to talk about Myles Garrett because that's the biggest name. Biggest name. Now, according to the report, Andrew Berry and the Browns are not interested in trading Myles Garrett. But Myles Garrett is going on a media tour. He's at Radio Row on all these shows. Like, yeah, man, I'm out of Cleveland. How's that going to work? You're muted.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work because I said this yesterday. If I'm the Browns, I keep him because in a trade, you're only saving $5 million.
Yeah, but if he wants out, he's got some.
Yeah,
he's the best player in the world.
So you gotta convince him to stay.
Yeah, I agree. They gotta. Maybe this is Myles Garrett in his camp lighting a fire underneath Cleveland's. You know what? Saying, hey man, you got to give me a good, extensive plan of how we're winning because I need to win. I'm in the prime of my career, and I want to go after some Super Bowls. So it's gonna be interesting to see where Myles Garrett ends up. I feel like that's going to be one of the biggest storylines. You see the you know which team is the favorite, actually, betting favorite to land him, which is shocking?
Is it Buffalo?
No.
Who is it?
Dallas Cowboys.
That's crazy. With Micah?
Yeah. And the Chiefs are the 3rd favorite. That would be scary if the Chiefs got him.
Well, you know what? The Commanders on there too pretty high, so that's interesting too.
Yeah, that's the most likely one that everyone's talking about. So, a lot of things coming around the NFL.
I would convince him to stay though. I would do all I can to keep him in house.
You think so? Well, yeah, of course. When your star player like that wants out, or if you're Cleveland, you can get a kickstart of your rebuild and get a lot of assets. But at the end of the day, there's no replacing a Myles Garrett no matter how many picks you got. He was a first overall pick, a generational player. You're not replacing Myles Garrett with no matter what you get in return. That's the sad part. If you're Cleveland, you trade away this type of player, you're not getting anything in return. You're really, really not.
Yeah, I could see him going to Miami too.
Oh, my goodness. So, folks, shorter episode this morning because we started a little late, but we will be back tomorrow here on Wake Up and Ball, Roundtable Sports. TD, there's a lot of things to be excited about, man. A lot of things regarding the NFL. Anything else you want to bring up or talk about before we wrap things up?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we thank y'all for tuning in every morning. Don't forget to check the Patreon out. We got the new Patreon. Follow the link in the description of the video. And you can join one of the tiers. It's for company-wide Roundtable Sports Patreon. So you can take advantage of all the perks we have. We appreciate all those who sign up and help us continue to support Roundtable Sports. Thank you all. We love you all.
The Patreon link is right here on the screen, folks. Don't forget to check it out. And by the way, we are opening up to some callers here on Wake Up and Ball. Yeah. And the way you guys can do that is by becoming a Patreon member. Link is in the chat right now to become a Patreon member. We got the practice squad, the starter tier, Pro Bowler, All-Pro, and Hall of Famer. All right, the ability to call into all Roundtable shows. That's including Wake Up and Ball, the new Dan Mitchell show, and a lot of other shows launching on Roundtable Sports. If you want to come on in and call here on Wake Up and Ball, so go check out the Patreon, folks. We appreciate it. Link in the chat, link in the description. Wake Up and Ball is out. We love you all, and a big shout out, as always, to BetUS Sportsbook for powering Roundtable Sports. Peace out, folks.